My thoughts on the actual language learning community and why I feel a need in this case of like expressing my thoughts about the language learning community, especially on the actual one, because the older one was, I think, a pretty good one. Because I think that actually the language learning community right now is specialized on like learning languages through like playing video games or learning languages through watching series and watching anime or things like that. And then I think that these things can get pretty harmful in the long term. Um, like for example, watching anime. One of the things that I think happens with the language learning community is that I actually don't relate to almost anyone, and that actually gets me on on the motivation of me learning the language, because when I actually maybe let you see that someday I want to talk to someone in Japanese, and then I probably wouldn't relate to almost anyone who is a native on the Japanese language, who actually, yeah, I relate to, because as you say that I am into calisthenics, I am into reading books, and maybe uh, finding a Japanese or someone who knows Japanese, uh, who have the same hobbies as me, who are accepted into language learning, maybe will be difficult, because finding people like that is not actually pretty easy, especially when it comes to disciplined people. Because yeah, maybe I can find someone who is into calisthenics, but maybe he also, after a long time of even learning languages, maybe he watches porn, maybe he keeps watching animes, which actually gets me to one of my points, which is the lack of practice opportunities when it comes to talking. Maybe I want to talk to that person, and actually the thing about language learning is that it needs to be enjoying. if if you don't enjoy the language process, well, let me tell you that it's going to be pretty bad, because if you don't enjoy it, then you're not going to be able to do it for like maybe um 8 hours, 5 hours. So like it's pretty bad if you're not going to be able to do it for that long, because you are not going to get results which relate to people who actually learned the language pretty quickly, which is one of my objectives. So like yeah, and that's actually it. There's things like, for example, the language exchange community, which actually I think it works, because I have found some people which have the same hobbies as me. It's just that, well, I think that those things are actually kind of weird to do for some reason. For some reason, I just think it's weird to go to a language exchange community looking for kind of a friend who is going to have the same hobbies as you. So like think it's just weird, and that's actually why I do these kind of videos, because I want to get people who has the same hobbies as me, who are disciplined, who are maybe into calisthenics, maybe they are not. But the thing about that is that about this is that I want disciplined people who are into language learning, and I want to help you as well, into knowing the process of how to learn languages. Well, in this case, acquire languages. I want you to know that process, and that is why I make these videos, and that is why if you go to the description, you can see my page, and you will see my product there. And in my product, well, you will learn things like how to acquire a language and how to get more discipline in the process. So like, yeah, that's just it. And I hope this actually brought you some value. Well, I don't think it brought you any value. It's just that I wanted to express my thoughts on the language learning community, because I just think that is not going to a pretty good place, or at least a place that I want them to go. So like, yeah, that's it.